We hope you enjoyed tonight's dinner service. And once again, thank you to CWU Catering. How about a round of applause for our CWU Catering? Thank you for your service and the wonderful meal tonight. Also, how about a round of applause for our folks providing the music this evening? At this time, we are going to close all bidding for tonight's silent auction items. Now it's my honor to introduce our university president, Dr. Jim Wolfhart. Dr. Wolfhart joined Central Washington University as its 15th president last June, continuing a long professional tenure in academics that has spanned all across the country, from Florida to Iowa and now to Washington State. Dr. Wolfhart, who has a very good pitching arm, as was seen at the Mariners game last night, CW Night with the Mariners, we welcome you to the podium for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Jonathan, for that generous introduction, and thank you all so much for coming out tonight to honor our Hall of Fame inductees. It is so amazing to see everybody back on campus without masks so we can see each other's smiles. And all of the activities we had today, the track and field and the spring football game. It was just marvelous to see everybody out in the sunshine. If you've not been to campus in a while, you might have noticed that we've been growing. We just finished and we'll open next Friday. We'll have a ribbon cutting our new health sciences building. That's a $63 million state-of-the-art facility for our health sciences program. And we will also next Friday do our groundbreaking ceremony for our health education building in Nicholson Pavilion. If you've driven by Nicholson Pavilion, you'll notice that it's all fenced off. We did blow out the east side. We wondered if the roof would fall. It didn't. Unfortunately, we maybe thought we'd get a new roof, but it's good. It's still there. That's going to be a $55 million renovation, and it's really going to do remarkable things for our health education programs, but then also especially for our athletics programs. I've been impressed not only with what we do here on this campus with our facilities, but also with our students, and especially with our student athletes. The performance this past year of our athletics teams has been invigorating, quite remarkable. Volleyball made it to their 9th consecutive trip to the NCAA West Regionals. Mario, nicely done. Football qualified for the playoffs for the second time in 5 years. Chris Fisk and all of his coaches. Sasha and I had the remarkable opportunity to travel with the football team to their playoff game. And all along the way, the football team would interact with the flight attendants or the bus drivers or the people in the restaurants or the hotels. And this is no exaggeration. Every single group of people that they interacted with came up to me and they said, "Now you must be the football coach." And I said, "Well, that's quite a tribute." They said, "What a remarkable group of young men. We've never interacted with a group of football players who were so generous and kind and gracious." That's the kind of folks we have on this campus, but I'll also say this, that's the kind of coaches that we have and the life journey that our students are on. So it's amazing. Our men's rugby team won the first round of their playoffs here on our campus, which was amazing. And our women's basketball team won the first GNAC Conference Championship in school history. That's a remarkable duo, Randy and Todd. Thank you both for the work that you do here on this campus. And this success is not just happen on the court and the field, it also happens in the classroom. All 15 programs earned a GPA of over 3.0. And the entire athletics department had a 3.297 GPA this last winter quarter. Tonight we're here to honor this year's inductees. And we all know this, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame at Central Washington University is a recognition of a special contribution to the Wildcat athletics. John Delaney was recruited here for football and track and field, but what makes John stand out is the way in which he has remained connected to Wildcat athletics for his entire career after he left here. Not only for his financial support, but all of the time that he has given to us to be on all sorts of campus boards and even to chair some of those boards. So it's going to be fun, John, to recognize you this evening. And Theresa Miller touched the lives of thousands of student athletes through her committed service as the equipment manager. That's right. Now we know this, it's not the athletic directors or the coaches, and it's certainly not the president that makes a difference, it's the equipment managers, right? Keeping everything running. Thank you, Teresa, for your service. Remarkable service. That was a bit of a cheap shot at the athletic directors. Let me say this, I go to as many of our home games as I possibly can, and our athletic directors are all there every weekend. I don't know when they ever get time off. So Dennis and Gary and Laura and Mal and Josh, if you all will stand, you all are a remarkable team. Thank you for your service. And we have some former athletic directors in the house, Jack Bishop and Gary Frederick. Will you all stand too? Thank you for your service. And there's another group of folks that I just want to mention real quickly, our athletic trainers. I know that Isaac is here, but all the athletic trainers, you all keep it going. It's just an amazing group of folks that you all, everything you do, it's just awesome. I love seeing you here for everything that you do. It makes such a difference. So thank you all too to the athletic trainers. And then we also have, to honor tonight, Samantha and Mike, whose athletic performance here at Central Washington University left an indelible mark on Wildcat athletics and on the record books. Mike threw a touchdown pass in all 46 games of his collegiate career and holds the NCAA all-division record for consecutive games with a touchdown pass. Wow. Samantha led the softball team to 2 consecutive GNAC regular season titles and back-to-back NCAA West Regional appearances. It's going to be so much fun to have you all on stage tonight and hear your stories. John, Teresa, Samantha, Mike, today you join an auspicious group of Wildcats, and you pave the way for future success. I want to be clear about this. Tonight we're going to honor you. But tonight what happens is we go to the next level because we're remembering the work that you did. So thank you for being here tonight and being part of this journey. In the 11 months that I have been here, I hear over and over again as I talk to our alumni and our donors and our supporters and our legislators that Central Washington University is a special place. Inside the classroom, our faculty get to know the students and help them on their journey, helping them understand who they are, the gifts and talents they have, and how they can offer those gifts and talents to the world. Our staff do the same thing. On the track or the field or the court or the pitch, this is an amazing thing that happens here, and it is magical. The key thing that I have heard over and over again, and I heard it about 3 or 4 times even just tonight, is that the magical ingredient in this, it's the people. It's the relationships that are established here at Central Washington University that make that magic happen. One of the things I do as a president is I watch how the coaches interact with the players as they come off the field or off the court or off the pitch. And it's always interesting to see when a player needs a slight course correction, how that coach interacts with that young player. Are they interested in their journey in life? A much bigger thing to be interested in than just winning that game. And as our coaches interact with our players, I'm always so impressed with the way in which they are first and foremost interested in them as human beings on that journey. These relationships help us learn and grow and become better people. And that's what this place is about and why it is so incredibly magical. Today we will honor these inductees, but we also honor something much bigger. The coaches, the teams who surrounded them, the relationships on this campus that supported them. And as we look into the future for this great institution, we will broaden that impact and deepen that commitment to that journey that our students are on. We have enormous opportunity in front of us because of who we are and what we do, but that also is a great responsibility. Folks, we change lives. Day in and day out, we change lives. Today we honor that as we come together. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to this institution and to Wildcat Athletics. Go Wildcats!
Our next speaker is currently wrapping up his 9th year as the Director of Athletics at Central Washington University. Since June 2013, Dr. Dennis Francois has guided the Wildcat Athletic Department to new heights, both on and off the field, court or course, helping make sure CW joins the elite NCAA Division II athletic programs, not only on the West Coast, but across the country. Dr. Francois will now join us for a few words.
Well, anybody that knows me, I'm very scripted. So I've got my notes here, and I think they're 19 pages long, but I also have my glasses on, and it's still size 20 font, so we're good there. But thank you, Dr. Wolfhart. Thank you for sharing, you and Sasha, this event this evening. It's great to have you at our university, and hopefully you witness some great things this evening. Also, a big thanks to our MC, Jonathan Gordon. Jonathan, his experience in our athletic department since 2002 to 2013 as our sports information director, his relationship with some of our inductees will definitely shine through in his comments tonight and share some of his stories with our inductees as well. But good evening and welcome to the 2022 Wildcat Gala and Athletics Hall of Fame. As others have mentioned, it's extremely exciting to be back in person, maskless, and celebrating the gala portion of tonight's event, the first time since 2019, which is just kind of crazy to think about that. But first and foremost, we are here to celebrate the accomplishments of 4 inductees. We are truly grateful for their contributions to the history, culture, and success of Wildcat Athletics and our university as a whole. However, we also know in order to continue to produce All-Americans, GNAC Players of the Year, longtime supporters, and great employees who take pride in their work, we need to continue to invest in the central student-athlete experience. We need to grow our resources in order to recruit and retain the best student-athletes, the best coaches, the best donors, and employees of Central Washington University. Each of tonight's inductees, John Delaney, Theresa Miller, Samantha Petrich, and Mike Reilly, have and continue to leave their mark on our department and to a certain degree, a pathway for all of us to follow. Whether you're a current student athlete, and we've got quite a few of them in here in the room tonight, and how about all of our student athletes just stand up, the ones that are here. Our vision here at Central Washington University in terms of our athletic department is to be a program with which people are proud to be associated. And every time I'm with our student athletes, there is a sense of pride knowing that I am associated with them and our coaching staff, as Dr. Wolfhart stated. So thank you all for being here this evening. But whether you're a current student athlete, a young alum, or a supporter, or an employee of our department, that is what that pathway that has been set. So thank you and congratulations to each of our inductees on your induction into the Athletic Hall of Fame. 3 years ago at this event, I shared with you how our student athletes are only able to reach their potential if they are pushed beyond their comfort zone. And that same principle applies to us as administrators, coaches, and donors. Dare to dream and dream big. That's exactly what we did a few years ago with the Wildcat Commons Phase 1 project, and we accomplished it. Now we are embarking on another transformational project with the $55+ million renovation of Nicholson Pavilion and Purser Hall, and is just going to be outstanding for our student athletes. This project will have a huge impact on not only our student athletes, but also the experience of our student body, our fans, our corporate partners, our great university, and the community of Ellensburg as a whole. Furthermore, these improvements are proof that when we work in collaboration toward a common vision, great things can and do happen here at Central Washington University. That being said, to recognize the contribution of our Hall of Fame inductees, tonight's program also includes some philanthropic opportunities for you to ensure that Wildcat Athletics continues to grow and flourish and produce future Hall of Famers. Before we recognize tonight's event sponsors, I want to take a little bit of time to thank our athletic department, coaching staff, and staff members who are in attendance tonight. Literally, the success of our teams in competition and in the classroom, as the president noted, really starts with our coaches. Our coaches staff and our coaches and our staff that are truly committed to the academic success of our student athletes. So thank you all for what you do for our university and the impact you have on our student athletes. It is great to be here with you this evening and having our coaching and staff share this with us. I would also like to acknowledge and thank the members of our Hall of Fame committee. And if you don't mind standing up again, that would be great. And first we have Gary Frederick, who has chaired for the last couple years. Gary. Gene Adams. Gene is the president of our Wildcat Athletic Association. Ethan Bergman, our faculty athletic rep. Ken Kladnick, Hall of Fame member, former athletic trainer here. Mr. Jonathan Gordon. Bob Guptill. If any of you know Bob, I always kind of look back, and when I face like a scheduling problem or a numbers problem, I'm saying, where's Bob Guptill when you need him? The guy is unbelievably talented, but Bob is not able to be with us here this evening. Lori Dalby-Nicolai. Laura? I don't know where Laura's at. Laura's our Associate Athletic Director for Compliance and Student Athlete Services. Chris Belvin. Chris is our Director of Athletic Communications. And last but not least, and I want Brianna to stand up. Brianna Bischoff. If you had any calls, any problems, any issues, they all went to Brianna and she worked it out. So today it was wonderful what she did in here and her staff. So thank you, Brianna. Appreciate it. Tonight I also have the great pleasure of recognizing a number of long-standing partners of Wildcat Athletics as our Hall of Fame sponsors. Could representatives of Kittitas Valley Healthcare, Starline Luxury Coaches, Orthopedics Northwest, and Kirkham Law please join us on the stage? First, it is a pleasure for us to recognize for the 6th year Kittitas Valley Healthcare as the title sponsor of tonight's event. KVH, as most of us know them, has been an anchor in our community. Since 1964, KVH has been serving the healthcare needs of the Ellensburg community and greater Kittitas Valley. Consistently voted one of the top 20 critical access hospitals in the nation by the National Rural Healthcare Association, KVH is an invaluable resource in our community. As Ellensburg's second largest employer, KVH has had a major economic impact within our community. With 15 clinics and specialty services in our county, KVH is able to meet the critical and acute and long-term healthcare needs of our residents. The mere presence of KVH in our community is a huge asset for us as a university when we have trailing spouses, significant others that are also employed at the hospital, which we do have a few of those as well. But they allow us to attract the most talented people to our community and to our university. Representing KVH tonight is Dr. Annalise Stone. Dr. Stone, please accept this plaque as a small token of our appreciation. Next, I would like to recognize another longtime partner of Wildcat Athletics, the company that takes great care and has the responsibility of transporting our most precious cargo, and that is our student athletes and our coaches. Starline Luxury Coaches, I apologize. In 2018, Starline Luxury Coaches purchased A&A Motor Coach, passing the ownership from former CW alum and former football player Randy Ammerman to another CW alum, Board of Trustees member Gladys Gillis. Although the ownership has changed, the unbelievable and unparalleled level of service, safety, and care for our student athletes and coaches has not. As the official charter service provider for CW Athletics for over 30 years, our teams have logged millions of miles with Starline. Representing Starline Luxury Coaches is Gladys Gillis. Gladys, please accept this plaque in recognition of tonight's sponsorship. Next, I'd like to recognize Orthopedics Northwest. As the official team orthopedics physicians for CW Athletics, Orthopedics Northwest is responsible for the care of the vast majority of our student athletes needing orthopedic surgery. I want to thank Orthopedics Northwest for the timely and professional care they provide our student athletes, which unfortunately is usually in a time of trauma, when they might think their career is going to be ending and they are not able to compete in the sport they love. The bedside manner and professionalism exhibited by the surgeons at Orthopedics Northwest is always comforting to our student athletes, their parents, and our coaches. Representing Orthopedics Northwest tonight is Dr. Tom Kennedy. Dr. Kennedy, thank you so much for being a sponsor. Please accept this plaque. Our next sponsor is Kirkham Law Office. Owned and operated by CW graduate and attorney James Kirkham Jr., Kirkham Law specializes in criminal defense as well as will and estate planning, providing an excellent service and a people-friendly approach to its clients. As a graduate of Central, James understands the impact of our university and athletics, what it does to our campus and our community. As a longtime sponsor of CW Athletics and this event, we are proud to have Kirkham Law as our corporate partner. Representing Kirkham Law tonight is James's son, Theo. Theo, please accept this plaque as a token of our appreciation. Last but not least, and I don't know if anybody had a beer or two tonight, but I want to thank another corporate partner of Wildcat Athletics for their continued sponsorship and support of the Hall of Fame and many other athletic events, and that's Iron Horse Brewery. Born and brewed right here in Ellensburg, Iron Horse continues to make its mark on the craft beer world in the Pacific Northwest. Iron Horse is the 5th largest producer in the state of Washington, and if I did my math correctly, which always isn't the case, Iron Horse has jumped 23 spots from 28 to number 5 in the past 10 years. This speaks not only to the quality of their product, but also its employees and their leadership. So thank you very much. Unfortunately, Iron Horse was unable to send a representative this evening, but they are here in spirits. That was good. That was good. Thank you. I got a quick group here tonight. All right. Another round of applause for our title sponsor, Kittitas Valley Healthcare, Starline Coaches, Orthopedics Northwest, Kirkham Law, and Iron Horse Brewery. Thank you so much. In addition to this very special event sponsors, I also want to thank the individual table sponsors, which we have quite a few out there tonight, our Wildcat Athletic Association Board of Directors, and those who have generously donated both our silent and live auction items tonight. Thank you, because it's through you that we can make this a great event tonight. Again, welcome home to our inductees. Congratulations, and we're looking forward to a great event. Next, I would like to invite to the stage our president of the Wildcat Athletic Association, Gene Adams.
First of all, Dennis, I think we need to update that picture. It's a little old. Well, good evening. As Dennis mentioned, my name is Jean Adams, and I am the president of the Wildcat Athletic Association. First of all, I'd like to start off by congratulating this year's inductees. After reading your bios, you make us all proud to be Wildcats. And I would also like to thank everyone for coming to tonight's event. It's been so long that we've been able to have an event together, so it's just so refreshing to see all of you this evening. As president of the Wildcat Athletic Association, one of our main goals is to be the fundraising arm for Wildcat athletics. However, we also make it a priority to engage and reconnect with the alumni of this great university. And with today's induction, your connection with Central Washington University will further be cemented into the history books. So on behalf of the Wildcat Athletic Association, I would like to extend our congratulations on your induction into the Central Washington University Athletics Hall of Fame. Thank you so much, and go Cats.
Thank you, Dr. Wolfhart, Dr. Francois, and Jean for those comments. Now it's time to induct 4 individuals into this year's class of the CWU Athletics Hall of Fame. 2 individuals, as we've mentioned, are being inducted for their contributions to Central Washington University and to Wildcat athletics over the years through their service, while 2 are being inducted based on their athletic merits on the field. Our first inductee this evening is a longtime member of the Wildcat community and is being inducted in the Spirit of Central category. John Delaney came to Ellensburg and Central Washington State College, as CW was known at the time, in 1966 from DeSales High School in Walla Walla. He participated in both football and track and field over the course of his time as a Wildcat student-athlete, eventually graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Business Administration with a minor in psychology in 1974. It is John's work and contributions following his graduation from Central that have left a mark not only with Wildcats, but across the region and nation. He has circled back to CWU, spending more than a decade as president of the Wildcat Club, now known as the Wildcat Athletic Association. He has also served on the CWU Foundation Board of Directors and on the advisory board in our university's excellent College of Business. He has owned Central Bank Mortgage for more than 40 years, continuing to serve as its president and CEO to this day. His induction tonight into the CWU Athletics Hall of Fame is the latest addition to his resume of accolades from his alma mater, joining a Distinguished Alumni Award he received in 2004, and I'm sure there's others. Ladies and gentlemen, our first inductee into the class of 2022 of the CWU Athletics Hall of Fame, Mr. John Delaney.
Well, everybody's worried that I'm going to take the normal hour and a half speech I normally give, and that's not going to happen tonight. I decided to keep it to an hour and 10 minutes, and but I want to run through some things that I think are important that we accomplished here at Central. But I'd first like to acknowledge my family, my daughter, Lisa Delaney, and my son, Johnny Delaney, and his girlfriend, Michelle. I'd like to acknowledge my sister-in-law, Jill Delaney, my niece, Nikki, my nephew's girlfriend, Deanna, and my 2 nephews, Stevie and Taylor. We're a very, very close Italian family, and so we're very tight, and that's the way Italians are. And no, I'm not wearing a wig. This is my real hair. And so I want to say that this honor really means a lot to me, because I served on the Hall of Fame committee for years, and there was an individual, John Kerry, that nominated me every year, and we take the vote, and I go, yeah, I vote for myself. I didn't do that. I'm just kidding. But it ended up that John said, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep doing it till you get elected. And so thank you, John. That means a lot to me. He also mentioned in one of our recent Wildcat Club meetings or Wildcat Athletic Association meetings that a calendar ran the 100-yard dash faster than I did. And so, you know, it's kind of that's not true. I was pretty quick. In fact, when I introduced myself to the various boards, we go around the room, and I jokingly say, John Delaney, self-proclaimed star athlete at Central Washington University. And but some of the things we did here, I think our new president, Dr. Wolfhart, mentioned the alumni and how important it is and how we create a community. And, you know, one of the relationships I had early on when I came to Central was with Dr. Brooks. And Dr. Brooks was the president of Central. He, for some reason, he took a liking to me, and we ended up being very close friends. And he supported really everything that we did, everything I did, everything the community did. We went from like 2,800 students to 5,000 when I graduated. And I also lived in a fraternity here, a local fraternity that housed 25 men, but we had like 100 associates because we could only have 25. And we ended up, believe it or not, this is in the 60s, we ended up wearing blazers and ties on campus every Wednesday. And, you know, this is during the Vietnam era. A lot of the anti-social things were going on. But we created men, and it created a real atmosphere of accomplishment. And, you know, I never lost that. I never lost the fact that made me. It really did. It made me understand how important it was to carry a character, to carry pride, and to be successful. And we were. You know, there wasn't a chairmanship at the school that I didn't have. I remember being Parents Weekend chairman. Dennis talks about the pavilion. We had a barbecue at the pavilion, and we had 45-mile-an-hour winds at this barbecue. So, but it was exceptional. And, you know, I was homecoming chairman. I mean, we had, you know, Neil Diamond. I mean, we did some really fun things. Jack Bishop, who was, and I'm honored that he's here tonight, he and his wife Carol, when we decided that we're going to create the largest alumni event in the history of Central. And we created the Battle in Seattle at Seahawk Stadium. And it's been renamed so many times, we'll just call it Seahawk Stadium. And we played Western Washington, and we had a huge banquet the night before at a private club that I belonged to. We had the presidents there, we had the coaches, the head coaches, and a lot of the administration of the university. And it really was. I think we drew the highest we ever drew, I think was 16,000. And we did that for several years. And then one day I get a call from Western Washington University, the athletic director. And she goes, I've got our president on the line. He wants to talk to you. And I thought, okay, you know, maybe they want a bigger event for this year's Battle in Seattle. And it comes out that they said, hey, we're canceling football. I said, what? We're canceling football. And so, it was devastating because that was our rivalry. We don't like Western, and we never will. And so that was a real setback for our program. We used that for recruiting. We said, hey, we play in Seahawks Stadium. You're not going to do that in any other venue where you go. So ends up that then we got Western Oregon to come to the stadium, but it wasn't the same. It still was good, and but not the same. And then eventually we decided that we're better off just to play here at home. So we're very proud of that. Very proud of developing the athletic programs, and we still, to this day, I look at Dennis as our athletic director. We're really, he's put us on a whole new level of excellence. I mean, I can't believe what he's done with the student athletes. I mean, seriously, it's amazing to me. I mean, these kids have 3.6 averages, 3.7 averages. I know Dave Kaufman, you were struggling here. Yeah, I'm just kidding. He owns one of the largest engineering firms in the country, and but seriously, those are amazing things that he's done. The coaching staffs here are beyond any form of any of our competition. They're just excellent. He's made some tough decisions, but he's got 100% support of everyone in this room. So Dennis, thank you very much for everything you've done for us. This is great. I'd also like to talk about just outside of athletics. As Dennis mentioned, I've served on several boards. One of the greatest accomplishments that I've been involved in is for the College of Business, who incidentally I recruited the current dean of the College of Business, Jeff Stinson. He was Roy Savoy, the dean, said, "Yeah, I've got this young guy, and he's absolutely incredible, but he's looking to go to a different school." And I took him to lunch at the Columbia Tower on the 75th floor, and I said, "You're not going anywhere. We're going to make you. You're going to move up in this university." And besides that, he was in like North Dakota, and he was jogging in 25 below weather. And I said, "You won't do that. I won't have to do that in Ellensburg. We'll at least have 0 for you." And so we got him. He's been nothing but a tremendous success story. But we applied for the highest accreditation in the nation for the College of Business, and it was a difficult task. The committee came out. Roy asked me to take him to dinner. I did. I talked to him. Ends up that we had a lot of mutual connections, and they came and visited the campus. They came back for another interview, and Sabrina Jenkins, who's one of our trustees, also was with me, and they came back after that and said, "Hey, you guys aren't exactly where we want you to be, but because of your support, we're going to give you the accreditation," which was incredible. And of course, our president, James Gaudino, who could sell anything to anybody, he did a wonderful job. So we're very proud of that. And, that's just some of the things that Central does for the student athlete. And even if you're not a student athlete, we place people, we do all kinds of things that other universities don't do. They don't care where you go. We do. And my theme today at our board meeting is, hey, we need to build a community. and you can't do it without starting friendships and being aggressive, being a salesperson. That creates community. You get 2 people, then it changes to 4, 4 changes to 30, 30 changes to 100. All of a sudden, you're very, very successful. So I'd also like to thank 2 very close friends of mine that sponsored some tables tonight. And we're best friends, but we really don't get along that well. And I'd like to thank Jane and Andrew Heddlestead, who, again, created the community. I got him on the board of the Wildcat Athletic Association, and he's done numerous things for Central Washington, and that's the kind of thing we need to continue to do. But I just want to tell you that again, in closing, the day I got the call from Dennis that I was elected to the Hall of Fame was the same day at 5 o'clock in the morning I was with my mother, who passed away. And so it was a very emotional day. And Dennis knows me. He goes, "What's wrong?" And I thought, gosh, this news sure traveled fast, because my mom passed away at 5 in the morning, and Dennis called me about 5 at night. And I thought he knew, and and he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Oh gosh, I lost my mom." But anyway, she was a great lady. She did a beautiful job with my brother and I. And there's not too many people that come from Central that can say they had founded the largest mortgage origination company in the United States. And we did that. And I did that with the education I got at Central. And that's why Central's so important to me, that, it is. I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be able to do what I did for Central. I wouldn't be able to do it for my family without Central Washington University. So with that, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Now, if you've been around Central Washington University home athletic events during the 21st century, our next inductee into the Hall of Fame should need no introduction. Theresa Miller was an integral part of Wildcat athletics for more than 2 decades, and in fact has been a key part of athletics in Kittitas County since her days as a youth. In 1977, graduate of Ellensburg High School, Teresa was a student athlete for the hometown Bulldogs, namely in the sport of basketball, where she even held the EHS girls single game scoring record of 27 points for more than 6 years, from her sophomore year until the record was broken in 1981. She later coached softball at 3 of the nearby high schools in Kittitas, Thorpe, and Ellensburg. But it's her transition to and the impact she has made as the sports equipment manager for Wildcat Athletics from the early 2000s until her retirement in June 2021, for which Teresa is earning recognition this evening as a Hall of Fame inductee. I have 2 of probably numerous stories about Teresa that I'd like to share with you tonight. I remember when I visited CWU for my job interview 20 years ago, I saw collages of pictures adorning the windows outside Athletic Director Jack Bishop's office, and I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Digital photography was in its infancy, and lo and behold, I came to learn rather quickly that these photos were Teresa's work, something she did above and beyond her job with Wildcat uniforms and athletic equipment and field preparation. She would constantly add to her collages as they plastered the walls inside her office, mementos of the thousands of student athletes whom she has served. When social media came along, Teresa joined that fold too, befriending so many of those student athletes and always acknowledging their birthdays with a Facebook shout out, and she still does it. That's just a sampling of who Theresa Miller is and what she has meant to CWU athletics. Another example of who Teresa is and what she means to people around her impacted my life directly when my wife, also a CW employee, had a life-threatening illness 8.5 years ago. Teresa graciously donated shared leave to my wife to help our family alleviate our financial burden at an otherwise stressful time in our lives. There's so many more stories that I could tell, so many more stories that many of you could tell. Thank you, Teresa, for that, for all you've done for Wildcat student athletes, staff, and our community behind the scenes for so many years. I'm very proud to introduce our next CWU Athletics Hall of Fame inductee, a great friend to me and to all Wildcats, Theresa Miller.
See what happens when you retire? Oh, I'm so thankful for this. You guys don't know how much this means to me. I can't see you with all the lights, but a lot of years at Central. A lot of you know I've started out as a custodian, and that's where it all started, how I met the athletes. And then Jack Bishop surprised me tonight being here, and Carol. He hired me in the athletic department. I have so many memories. I wish I could share them all. The ones I mostly remember is softball with Gary Frederick. I'm getting nervous here, so I don't know what I'm saying. I just have a lot of fond memory with all these athletes. They mean so much to me. I don't have kids, but they're my kids. I just love them all. I don't know what else to say. I'm just so honored to be here. I thank the committee that selected me into this. I want to congratulate the other people. I think I did it. I just want to thank everybody. I really appreciate this. I'm not good at this stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Our next inductee is Samantha Petrich. Samantha graduated from WF West High School in Chehalis before embarking on a fast-pitch softball career at Lower Columbia College in Longview, where she was an all-region and all-American infielder for the Red Devils. She transferred to CWU prior to the 2010 season and carried those on-field successes over from the junior college level to the NCAA Division II level. Some of Samantha's accolades during her two-year career in Ellensburg included first-team All-American honors as a senior, Division II West Region Player of the Year, two-time All-West Region first-team selection, Great Northwest Athletic Conference Player of the Year, CW Female Athlete of the Year, and a pair of first-team All-Conference accolades. Now, some 11 years after she finished her career in the Crimson and Black, she still ranks among the all-time conference leaders in on-base percentage at .509, slugging percentage at .803, 7th in batting average at .413, and 17th in career home runs with 29, and that's just in 2 seasons. She drove in 105 runs in 101 games as a Wildcat. While this induction is based on her career at Central Washington University, her 4-year career numbers between CWU and Lower Columbia included a career .462 batting average, 52 home runs, and 201 RBI in 188 games played. Those are some pretty remarkable numbers. Samantha, who also worked in my office in sports information during her time as a student at CWU, completed her Bachelor of Science degree in exercise science in August 2011. She currently resides in California, where she has become the community manager and coach for HWPO training. One of the most competitive individuals I've ever seen on the softball field. She maintains that competitive edge by competing in CrossFit competitions. In fact, she was not able to attend tonight's induction ceremony as she is competing in the quarterfinals of the CrossFit Games season this weekend. She did submit an acceptance speech, which we'll view here shortly, after which, and then we welcome her father, Jerry Petrich, to the stage to accept the Hall of Fame plaque on her behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2022 CWU Athletics Hall of Fame inductee, Samantha Petrich.
Hi everyone, I hope that you guys are all enjoying the banquet. I'm super sad I can't be there. Unfortunately, this weekend I am competing in a CrossFit competition, and this is basically the only day, the weekend out of the year where I cannot somehow make it back to Central. So I'm having to send in a video, which isn't the best, but we make do with what we have, and I just am very, very appreciative of being inducted in the Hall of Fame for softball. It's a big deal to me. Central and the softball program had a huge impact on my life and when I was at school. Gary and Mallory, I wouldn't be who I am today without having them as coaches. And I just really want to make sure that they know how much I appreciate the time that they spent with me, all the hours, time on the fields, bus rides, all of those kinds of things. I went through some pretty big adversity my senior year. I got injured, and we weren't really sure if I was going to be able to come back from that. But Mal made sure that I got extra cuts in, and I could spend extra time after practice and doing all those things to make sure that my skills were where they needed to be. And so again, I can't stress enough that the coaches put in the time with me to help me be successful, and that made all the difference for me. I also want to thank all of my teammates. We had some studs on our team that allowed me to be the athlete that I was, and have, Lauren, amazing pitcher. I'm pretty sure she led the league in nearly everything. I was able to get ground balls and get outs. And she also allowed us to be able to give her run support on the back end of things. So, Lauren, you were great to play behind. I was super lucky. Danny out in the outfield crushed everything always. So we had very solid players that made me be able to compete at a higher level and up my game, because they also were at a high level, and we all just wanted to make each other better. And I truly believe that that's why my senior year we got as far as we did. We had a good group of girls who worked really hard, and we knew what the end goal was. And without the support of the entire team and all of our players, me being in the Hall of Fame wouldn't even happen. So I just want to make sure that all of my teammates know that they played a major role in this as well. And then, all of the teachers that helped us navigate playing during the season and having to miss classes and all those kinds of things. I feel that at Central, they allowed us to be able to make up tests or do stuff on the road when we had to. We played in Hawaii. We were taking tests on the flight over. So the school allowed us to do those kinds of things so that we could be a student athlete, which I know can be hard for a lot of people. So we got very lucky in that aspect. And I also want to make sure that my parents know how much I appreciate them coming to every game. Anyone that was at the softball games know that my family was always there in the stands supporting, and that obviously means the world to someone who's in college and needs that extra support. So a lot of people to thank. I'm pretty sure I forgot a bunch, but Central was a second home to me. I loved every minute of it playing at Central, and I couldn't imagine going to any other school. So thank you to everyone that's played a huge role in that, and just want to say congratulations to everyone else that is getting inducted in the Hall of Fame tonight. Teresa, you had a major impact on us. I saw you every day. I just want to say thank you for always keeping my uniforms clean and everything so organized. You were amazing every time I went in there to see you. So you were someone that I had contact with every day. But everyone that's getting inducted, congratulations. It is a big deal, and I just hope that everyone has an amazing night and a safe weekend. So again, thank you so much, and go Wildcats.
Before I continue, I neglected to do something earlier in the program that I had intended to do. Any members of the CW Athletics Hall of Fame that are in attendance with us tonight, if you could please stand up if you are able and be recognized. Thanks for coming back and for your continued support. As I mentioned at the beginning of the evening, the Central Washington University Athletics Hall of Fame has been in existence since 1983. However, a newer part of our Hall of Fame program has been the Hall of Fame Endowed Scholarship. This was the mastermind of two of our Hall of Famers, John Keary, class of 2001. John, where are you at? Raise your hand. There he is. And Ken Kladnick, class of 1994. Both initiated this endowed scholarship in March 2013 with initial contributions of $1,000 each. Now, 9 years later, our Hall of Fame Endowed Scholarship Fund totals just under $200,000. And that dollar amount is thanks to the contributions of many individuals like yourselves over the course of that span. Tonight, we'd like to present the next recipients of the Hall of Fame Endowed Scholarship, a pair of standout student athletes on the CWU football and volleyball teams. This year's recipients are Dante Hamilton from Wildcat football and Ashley Kaufman from Central Volleyball. You guys can make your way to the stage. I'm going to read a little bit about both of them. Dante, who originally hails from Mukilteo, Washington, is a 2021 graduate of CWU with a degree in sport management and is currently enrolled in our graduate school. He was a second-team All-American linebacker this past fall, also earning Conference Defense Player of the Year honors. Having completed his eligibility on the field, Dante is now a member of the Wildcat coaching staff as a graduate assistant. Ashley, meanwhile, is also in the sport management program as an undergraduate. A senior academically, the native of Hayden, Idaho, has 2 seasons of eligibility remaining on the volleyball court. She was a first-team all-conference honoree last fall as an outside hitter and has been a 2-time academic all-conference pick. She currently carries a 3.879 grade point average. I'd like to welcome both Dante and Ashley to the podium to say a few words.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee and all of you here tonight for your endowment. Also, congratulations to tonight's inductees. It's very inspiring to hear about your accomplishments and time at Central. This university is where it's at today thanks to Wildcats like you. Central Washington has been nothing but good to me. I've met wonderful, driven people, made life memories, and fell in love with the city of Ellensburg. My teammates, coaches, faculty, and admin have all made my experience at Central one I will cherish forever. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. When I accepted an athletic scholarship to play football here in spring 2018, I had no idea I was making one of the best decisions of my life. Prior to Central, I attended Saddleback College in Southern California for 2 years, just going to school and playing ball, collecting student loans left and right to supplement my dreams of earning a scholarship to a 4-year institution. My family, who is right over there, was very, My family was very supportive during this time, backing me financially so I could solely focus on school and football. It paid off as I became good friends with the Dean's List and an All-American safety before transferring to Central. The scholarship from CWU was vital to my success as a student athlete. It allowed me to give my all to academics, athletics, and gave me no excuse not to succeed. Because of that scholarship, I was able to continue momentum on and off the field. As mentioned earlier, I graduated in spring 2021 with a Bachelor of Science in Sport Management, a 3.7 GPA, 2-time academic all-conference, 2-time first-team all-conference, Conference Defensive Player of the Year, All-American, and one of CWU's prestigious number 44s. That stuff is cool and all. However, I'm most proud of what I learned along the journey. How to communicate with people of all different backgrounds, what it means to sacrifice, how to persevere, and that down means something is probably coming back. That was for Coach Johnson. In all seriousness, Central has helped mold me into the person standing before you. I never thought I would be where I am today. 23 years old, pursuing my master's in athletic administration, and getting into the coaching world as a grad assistant with my former coaches. Coming back to coach for a university that has given me everything was a no-brainer. This Hall of Fame scholarship allows me to give that same time and energy to my coaching career as I did my playing career. Thank you all for your time, and forever, go Cats.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here. It's been a very busy day. The volleyball team just came back from Portland, and we played a couple matches there, but we are very grateful to be here, especially with a couple teammates here. Like said before, I'm Ashley Kaufman, and I'm a junior here, and I was born and raised right outside of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I've been playing multiple sports for as long as I can remember, and I've always wanted to play at the next level, and Central gave me that opportunity. Central has become my second home from the second that I stepped onto campus. I have loved every bit of being here and being a part of the volleyball program. It has brought me so many new great friends and memories throughout my years being here, and being here and remembering this night is going to be one of those amazing memories. So I want to say thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for this scholarship. This scholarship means so much to both me and my family. The past couple years has been a little tough for my family. A little over a year ago, I had a volleyball injury and had to get ankle surgery that took me out of playing for a couple months. After I recovered most of the way, my mom and I had to fly out to Missouri to help my grandparents because my grandpa had heart surgery. And my amazingly strong mom, about 1.5 years ago, was diagnosed with lymphoma, and she battled it for about a year. She was able to battle her way through it, and she has now been cancer-free for almost a year to this day. And I am so happy that her and my dad were able to make it here tonight. So I just want to say thank you again to the Hall of Fame committee for this scholarship. It means so much to us, and it's going to help us out financially a lot. I also want to say congratulations to all of the Hall of Fame inductees here tonight. And I also want to say thank you to everyone that has supported me this far in my life so far. They are, my parents especially, they are my rocks and have always been the people I could depend on no matter what the situation is. I want to say thank you to Gary, Dennis, and Laura in the athletic department for making sure us athletes have the support we need and for making our athletic careers here possible. Thank you to my coaches, Mario, who has given me the opportunity to continue my volleyball career here and pushing me to be the best athlete that I can be. I want to say thank you to Chloe, who is my assistant coach my freshman year, and I also want to say thank you to Lauren and also my teammates. I want to say thank you to our trainer, Jake, who is always there to listen to me for my weekly struggles and then also my daily aches and pains. And I want to say thank you to Hoyam for always pushing me to be better in the weight room and in life outside of volleyball. So again, I just want to say thank you all so much for all you do. You guys make our experiences here at Central possible and better than we can ever imagine. So thank you for making our lives here at Central ones to remember. Thank you.
Okay, we're up to our final inductee of the evening. This individual is one of the most accomplished athletes in the history of Central Washington University. I've got a lot of numbers to back that up here, so bear with me here for the next few minutes before we bring him to the stage. He's accomplished both at the college level here at CWU and also at the professional level. After a brief pursuit of Division I football career over in Pullman, Mike Reilly transferred to CWU for winter quarter 2005 and immediately left an impact on the Wildcat football program. What ensued over the next 4 seasons here in Ellensburg was nothing short of phenomenal. Mike played for 3 different head coaches in 4 years with the Wildcats and starred under each of them. He started all 46 games over the course of his CWU career and set an NCAA All-Divisions record by throwing at least 1 touchdown pass in all 46 of those games. He led Central to the NCAA postseason in each of his final 2 seasons, a feat that Wildcats had accomplished just once over their previous 8 years in NCAA Division II. He was the Great Northwest Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year in 2005, its Offensive Player of the Year in 2008, and that's sandwiched around second-team All-North Central Conference honors both seasons during the Wildcats' 2-year stay in the very prestigious NCC, his junior and sophomore campaigns. While in the GNAC, he was a 5-time Conference Offensive Player of the Week. He was first-team All-Region, first-team All-American pick during his senior season. And the accolades didn't stop there. He added selection to the prestigious East-West Shrine Game, a game traditionally reserved for NCAA Division I senior football players. He was the runner-up for the Harlan Hill Trophy as the top player in Division II football his senior year. Mike finished his Central career with 12,448 passing yards, second only to a guy named John Kitna, whom many of you have probably heard of. He also threw 118 career touchdown passes. Mike's excellence in the classroom as a student athlete was also renowned, with selections to the NCC Commissioner's Honor Roll in 2006 and 2007, and an academic all-conference and academic all-district honor following his senior year. Mike completed his Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering Technology from CWU in December 2008, graduating with a 3.519 grade point average. Now, Mike's football success did not stop in Ellensburg, of course. After stops in multiple NFL National Football League training camps, he landed with the British Columbia Lions of the Canadian Football League, where he embarked on an 11-year CFL career. He won Grey Cups, which is the CFL championship, with BC in 2011 and with Edmonton in 2015, earning most outstanding player honors in the latter of those games. He was a 2-time West Division All-Star in the CFL, was the league's most outstanding player in 2017, and his success in numbers north of the border are among the all-time best. Mike retired from professional football this past January, just 1 day before his 37th birthday, ranked 14th in CFL history with 34,805 passing yards. He is third in league history in passing yards per game with just under 265 per contest, and he also ran for more than 3,500 yards in his career, which ranks him among the top 100 rushers in the history of the CFL. Now, of the student athletes I've been around in more than 20 years around college athletics, Mike is undoubtedly the most well-spoken and polished in terms of speaking with the media, which you're going to see here shortly, and it set him up perfectly for his professional career in Canada. His suit game is also on point, as you'll see as he makes his way up to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, our final inductee to the 2022 CWU Athletics Hall of Fame class, Mike Reilly.
Wow, you didn't build up the stage for me there. Should be no problem. And I just heard Caden say, "Hi, Dada. Hi. I'm glad you're not yelling and screaming yet. You will be shortly, I'm sure." So I'm going to open up this piece of paper that there's no chance I'm actually going to follow tonight, because I don't ever do that. So, but I want to start off by congratulating the other inductees tonight. I mean, this is an amazing honor to join the people that have gone before us into the Hall of Fame here at Central Washington, and I don't take that lightly. So John, Teresa, and I know Samantha, who had the video, but I know her family's here tonight. Congratulations to all of you. Very well earned, very well deserved. I also want to say thank you to President Dr. Wolfhart and Sasha's wife for hosting us earlier tonight at their house. That was amazing. My first opportunity to meet you, but extremely impressed. I know that the university is in great hands, so thank you very much. Also to our athletic director, Dr. Francois, his wife Teresa, they've been amazing to me and my family from the first day that we met, probably back in 2016, our first face-to-face. But the hospitality's been amazing, and I'm not surprised. That's the type of people that are here at Central Washington in Ellensburg. Coach Fisk today, I don't know how many of you guys got to actually see the game today, but I got to call some plays. First time in my career calling defensive plays. Probably wasn't that good, but thankfully I had Brian Podacek calling plays against me. Where's he at? But then I got to call some offensive plays. It was like an 80 or 90-yard touchdown on our first play. So it's no big deal. It was a wide receiver throwing the pass, which was super weird. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, they just told me to pick some plays, and we went with it. Sorry, Coach Pica. Where's Coach Pica? We got to give Coach Pica a round of applause, first of all. He was trying to get me to run the ball. Again, some things never change here. And I said no. It was a lot like 2005 through 2008. But I'm just going to start naming out some names. You'll see why in a minute. So, AD, when I was here, Jack Bishop. First head coach I played for, John Zamberlin. Second head coach I played for, Bo Baldwin. Third head coach, this is getting weird, that I played for, Blaine Bennett. I think we kept winning and they kept like moving on to bigger schools or something. I'm not entirely sure what was happening with that. Brian Jensen, one of my offensive coordinators. As I just mentioned, Coach Pica, staple here at Central Washington. Gary Hyatt, Jonathan Gordon. I added this name when I saw him in the parking lot earlier today. I wasn't going to talk about him, Ken Kladnick, who apparently has been in the Hall of Fame since 1994, which is out of control. I mean, I just thought he was some weird guy that wanted to give me like ice massages way back in the day, but like, man, I'm not even injured. What are we doing? This is crazy. It's working though, so it's okay. Jonathan Gordon, Brian Podacek, Nate Brookerson, Johnny Spivak, Chris Rorbeck, Jared Bronson, Johnny Lopez, Matt Kaufman, David Lambeau, Tony Quirk, John Gariano, Aaron Gilbert. You notice who I last had listed there, those are the big boys up front because they're always the most important, especially if you're a quarterback. But I say all those names without really saying anything to begin it because I always have found this to be kind of silly and strange and weird and uncomfortable as a football player to be awarded for anything individually. Because football is, in my opinion, the ultimate team sport. And there's a lot of great team sports out there, but literally in football you can do nothing without your teammates. And I say teammates, not just the people that are on the field, also the coaches and the rest of the staff that help you prepare physically, mentally, emotionally sometimes. But you get nowhere without them. And so I always kind of find it strange that we're always awarding like quarterbacks MVPs, or if you're in Canada, MOP, because we're just different in Canada. So although I do feel honored and privileged to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I find it that it is not my effort, but the effort of all the people that I just listed and the hundreds that I didn't list that I could have, that would have taken me an entire hour and my kids would have been freaking out. But that's why I'm standing here. So it's kind of weird for me to be standing here because I wouldn't be able to do that if it was just me. I'm certainly not good enough. No one is. So to my teammates and my coaches and the support staff, my weird old athletic therapist, who I love, by the way, thank you very much. Because they were the most instrumental in our on-the-field successes that we all shared together. In addition to that, family, which all those people that I just listed are family. All of your teammates, when you play sports, become your family. But I also have a great family who's over at this table. My aunt and uncle, Carol and Mag, my grandma, Sheila, all of which came to multiple games at Central Washington and also traveled north of the border to support me in Canada. My mother and father-in-law, who are taking me to Arizona apparently, now that I'm retired, so thank you for that. But they've been extremely supportive from the first day that we met, and they've been amazing. This is going to be hard for me. My dad, and my mom should be here, but she's not. She passed away last year and we lost her. When you get older, you get emotional, I'm sorry. But they never missed a single game at Central Washington my senior year. I think my junior year, they never missed a home game. But when I say they never missed a game, my last 2 years, those were road games, playoff games, going to Nebraska, going to Michigan, watching all these games, going to the Harlan Hill presentation with me, and still loving me even though I didn't win. But they were my biggest supporters, and I couldn't have done any of that without my family. And now, in my current life, and from the time that we met, my wife Emily and my 2 little girls make everything possible. So, I mean, without you guys, I'm nothing. So, thank you to everybody that's helped me along the way, and I don't have enough time to list everyone. I hope that those names give you a small taste of the incredible people that I met during my time here at Central Washington. I'd like to talk a little bit about football because that's one of the things that I did while I was here. Just give you guys some of my favorite games that I got to play in. Any game against Western Washington University. Because, most importantly, we never lost. Like, actually, we never lost. I think they got rid of their football program because we never lost. Some of those games in Seattle, where we got to play in the big stage, the battle in Seattle, that was amazing. The first day that I got here, everybody was like, it kind of doesn't really matter what you do as long as you win against Western and the battle in Seattle. So we always won that. They should have said, it doesn't really matter what you do as long as you win a national championship. Maybe we would have done that. But they just told us, oh, all we had to do was beat Western, so we just did that. We were like, all right, cool. What do I have here? Oh, my freshman year, we went to play in Bellingham against Western Washington. And we played like crap the whole first half of that game. And we were getting beaten. We went into the locker room. We're like, what are we doing? This is like, we don't lose against Western. At least that's what they were telling me. I'd been on campus for like 8 months. But I was like, okay, we don't lose against Western. So we came out, and I mentioned 2 names earlier at the very beginning, Brian Podacek and Nate Brookerson. Those were my 2 all-star receivers my freshman year. They were both seniors. Brian was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016. If you're a current player and you don't know him, you better look him up, because he probably didn't look like much to some people, but that dude was one of the most amazing athletes that I've ever played with, and everybody knew it, including Nate Brookerson, who was also one of my very good friends. And Nate Brookerson was probably the fastest guy on the team, and he was very happy with his role, but it was like Nate could like never really quite get out of Brian's shadow on the football field. But we're playing against Western in Bellingham. We're losing. We need a big play. I hit Brookerson on a slant. He breaks a tackle, takes it for like 70 yards, and he gets hawked at like the 10-yard line. And we're like, oh. And I think it was Pody's guy that tackled him. If Brian would have been blocking better, he probably would have scored. But on the very next play, I threw a touchdown pass to Brian Podacek, and we won the game. And everybody thought Brian was a hero because he was. So that's just kind of how it always went with Brian and Nate. But that was one of my favorite games. We played a playoff game my junior year in Nebraska, Omaha, and we had never beaten Nebraska, Omaha. And we went there, and we probably weren't supposed to win the game. And it was my junior year. It was the first time we'd been in the playoffs, I believe, as a Division II team. Hadn't been there since NAIA years. And so nobody really gave us any chance of winning that game, and we kind of kept it close. And at the end, threw a touchdown pass. We had a kick return for a touchdown, and we ended up beating them. And it kind of rocked their whole program. But that flight back from Nebraska was probably my favorite moment in my career at Central Washington. It was just an amazing feeling. We got smashed by Grand Valley the next week, but it doesn't matter. And I think Nebraska-Omaha also got rid of their football program not long after that. So we ended 2 football programs for being so good on the field. It was pretty cool. And then one of my favorite ones, so Chris Rorbeck, I named him earlier. He's one of my great friends, and he was a guy that I spent so much time with here in Ellensburg. He'll remember this. We kind of had 3 guys. All of us were inseparable, me and Chris and Johnny Spivak. And the first game of the year, my senior year, we had a new coaching staff that we had never played with before. But prior to that year, me and Johnny always just kind of somewhat did our own thing on the field a little bit, which was weird. You're not supposed to do that, but it worked for us, and we would do it. So I would just see a matchup with him on somebody, and I would signal a different route that I wanted, like, I don't care what the play is, we're going to do this, and we would do it, and it would work. And so we started doing that in practice with the new coaching staff, and understandably so, they were like, what the hell is that? Don't do that. And we're like, are you sure? Because it's pretty cool. And they were like, no, we're really sure, don't do that. We're like, all right, what the hell, we're not going to do that, I guess. So we start the season at Dixie State. And it's a game we're supposed to win pretty easily. We're on the road, though, and again, we're playing like crap. And we get in the locker room at halftime. The coaching staff comes up to me and Johnny Spivak, and they're like, hey, you remember that weird little thing you guys were doing? Do that. And we just looked at each other like, we're going to do that. And then we did it, and then we won. So then we got to do that the rest of the year, which was pretty cool. But those were just some of my memories of games. And then I'll go back even before that, what brought me to Central Washington, because that's even more fun for me to think about. I started off at Washington State, wanted to play in the big Pac-10, which is now the Pac-12 or something weird like that. I don't really follow it anymore, but at the time it was the Pac-10. And I was not getting an opportunity to show what I felt I could do, so I wanted to go somewhere where I thought I could play. So I took a couple recruiting trips, one to Western Washington. I did that one first, and I was like, I'm going to go to Bellingham. I'm going to be a Viking. This is going to be great. And I loved everything. They had like some fancy new buildings and all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is a really cool campus. It's like, you know, they were showing me all this flashy stuff, like an indoor facility we could practice in, all this. I was like, this is great. This is where I'm going. And I told them, I was like, I'm probably going to go here, but I did tell Central Washington that I would come and check them out. So we'll see what they're all about, but I owe it to them. But don't worry about it. I'm coming here. And then I came to Ellensburg, and my recruiting trip, if you will, was very interesting. They had Brian Podacek host me, and he took me over to, I think we went to Wing Central first, which was awesome. I wasn't old enough to drink yet, so I didn't drink on that trip. Wouldn't do that. But they had some pretty big pitchers there, which was cool. And then we went to a guy named Josh Boonstra's house. He was a wide receiver, and we spent like 3 hours. It was kind of really weird. It was like 8 guys on the football team because everybody else had left for like winter break. There was no students here on campus. And we're like sitting around a living room. Boonstra's playing on the guitar. Everybody else but me has probably had too many beers, and everybody's like singing, and I was like, I don't know what's happening, but this is kind of fun. This is cool. It's like super weird, but pretty cool. And then the next morning we went to the Palace with Coach Peak and a bunch of other coaches, and we had breakfast. And if you ever heard Coach Peak talk, he sold me. I was like, I'm here. I think he probably told me we don't even run the ball here. We just pass always. I was like, holy shit, this is the offensive line coach telling me we don't even run the ball? We don't even believe in running the ball? We're just going to throw. Pretty cool. So I was like, yeah, all right. I called my dad. I told him. I was like, hey, you know, thought I was going to go to Western because they got some pretty fancy stuff, but the people at Central are definitely more me, you know, and I think they've sold me. And there was one more thing that I needed to know before I was going to commit to come to Ellensburg to play football. And I remember, so for the younger people, which makes me feel old to say that, this campus did not look like this. This building was not here. This didn't exist. To give you just a history lesson, if you don't know, we had a natural grass field, and by natural grass I mean like rocks and dirt and nails and stuff. Like, it was natural. And we were like, the night before a game one time, me and Matt Snell, he's in here somewhere, we were talking about this earlier. He was a great teammate, wide receiver of mine as well. They lined us up like on the goal line, like all the way across. We're like, what the hell are we doing? Sprints the night before a game? They're like, no, walk that way, pick up nails when you find them. What? Okay. We found a bunch of them. We didn't have lights. We had a track around our field that was probably, falling apart a little bit. Our weight room was in a chain link fence. Like, you're like, oh, we have a weight room kind of in a chain link fence. No, our weight room was in a chain link fence, and it was not that weight room that you have now. It was like a couple of Bowflexes maybe or something like that. Like, it was pretty bad. And then, of course, Ken had his spot. There was like this, I'm just remembering this now. There was this oversized hot tub. I don't know what the hell that was for. I don't even think, they were like, I don't think that we can actually afford to heat it, but it's there in case someday we can. They're like, well, all right, just don't get hurt or whatever. I don't know. But that's what we had here. But I didn't care about any of that. I loved the people that I had met, and I was like, I get along with these people. These people can become family to me. But I had to have one more question answered, because I grew up in Kennewick, Washington. I moved to Montana when I was in high school, but my junior year, but I grew up in Kennewick, and Kennewick is like super dry, desert, windy, all this stuff. And Montana's super cold, but not windy. And that's what I wanted to know. So we were at the Student Union building, whatever it was called at the time. There was like a Taco Bell there, and it was this like crappy old building, probably a couple blocks from here. And Brian Jensen, the offensive coordinator, had taken me there. We grabbed a meal, and I was getting ready to get on the road and head back. And I said, I really like everything that I see, but you have to answer me one question. I said, does it get windy here? This is whatever it was, like 15, 18 years ago. I don't even know what it was. Probably 18. That sounds a lot longer than I thought it was. 18 years ago, they didn't have those big wind turbine things. Those didn't exist here either. So I just had his good moral compass to tell me the truth, and that was it. And so he looked me straight in the face. He said, you see what it is right now? And I looked around. It was like dead calm, super snowy and cold. He goes, gets really cold here, but we don't ever see any wind. I was like, hell yes, I'm in. So I came to Central, and then we had our spring practice, and it was like 60-mile-an-hour winds. I'm like, this is amazingly awful. I said, what is happening? Is this the first day of this? And he's like, no, this does this all the time. I said, you told me it doesn't get windy here. He said, well, I got you a sign, and now you're stuck. So my point is that the people at Central are, they never lie. But they do what they got to do to get the job done, I guess. I enjoyed every minute of my time here in Ellensburg. It was amazing to me. It taught me, John Xamarin was my first head coach, as I said. They had high expectations for me. He would always tell me that. But he would also finish it up with the statement, you haven't pissed a drop. I didn't really know what that meant. I was like, I wasn't even in the bathroom. I don't know what you're talking about. But then I found out what he meant was, you haven't earned anything. We don't care what your name is, where you came from. We care about who you are and what you do while you're here. And that always stuck with me, because that's what I was looking for. I didn't want anything handed to me. I wanted to work for it, and I wanted to be around other people that were willing to work for what they wanted. And I found that here in Ellensburg. And it has had a lasting impression on me. I took it into my professional career. I feel like it served me very well, because when you get into professional sports, you come around a lot of amazing athletes, but a lot of them have been handed a lot of things at the college level. They went to big schools, and they got an opportunity because of the school that they went to, not necessarily the type of person that they are, and they fizzle out very quickly. But that wasn't the case with me. That wasn't the case with Adam Bighill, who's still playing up in Canada and has had an amazing career. And a lot of my other teammates that aren't playing in the football world but are doing amazing things off of it, because we were all given that background here, that if you worked your ass off and you did things the right way, good things were going to happen. And good things do happen to those type of people. So I've appreciated that. It's built me into the type of person I am today. I retired. I don't even know if I've officially retired yet. I don't think I've signed the paperwork. But the media says I retired in January, but I did it to take a job as a firefighter in Bellevue. And thank you. Not there yet. I still have a few weeks left in academy. They could still cut me anytime they want. But it has been an amazing opportunity because I get the chance to give back to a community and help people. You know, and I'm blessed to be able to be given that opportunity, just like I was blessed to be given the opportunity to come and play football here and more importantly, be a student here at Central Washington. And the people that I met while I was here became family, and I'm grateful for that. And it's pretty clear to me, you guys all know those people that you've known in your past, and then you kind of go different ways. And some of them you call or talk to, you run into them later, and it's super awkward and weird. Brian Podacek, I don't know, when was the last time, other than like 2 weeks ago, when was the last time that we talked? Long time. Years, right? Me and Brian got on the phone for like 45 minutes. It was like time hadn't passed. Coach Pika, same thing. Coach Pika texted me and called me a week ago trying to find out what my plans were. We just sat there and caught up for 20, 30 minutes. And I had the opportunity to sit with him and Gary Hyatt last night. Same thing. It was like I hadn't even skipped a beat with these guys because they were family and they still are. But that's what makes this place special. That's why I feel grateful for the opportunity to have been here. And thank you for this tremendous honor. On behalf of me, and most importantly, the people that are teammates, coaches, and friends that got me to where I am, because they deserve it as much as I do. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Told you, pretty well spoken. Good stories, too. So I was just handed a piece of paper, and it's a dollar amount from our Raise the Paddle that we did just preceding Mike's trip up here to the podium. For the Hall of Fame Endowed Scholarship this evening, we have raised $47,500. $47,500. Thank you. Thank you very much for your support. With that, that concludes our festivities tonight. Central Washington University Athletics Hall of Fame ceremony. Congratulations, John Delaney, Theresa Miller, Samantha Petrich, and Mike Reilly on your induction into the Hall of Fame class of 2022.